So this is more important than what I was going to talk about. All right, this is going to be very uncomfortable to look at, so I apologize in advance. Please leave if you have to. I totally understand. Go get a delicious snack. But so I was loosening up before the video, and I was kind of doing the little thing with your lips, right? Blow air through it, and watch the camera as it aliases. It's going to be very uncomfortable to look at, so I apologize in advance. Yeah. If that's not scarring, I don't know what is. All right, we gotta do this. So, Widget Wedgy, not what you think about it. Not what you think it is. Widget Wedgy is an idea that I came up with that you guys are free to build for fun or profit. It's licensed Creative Commons, that too. Creative Commons commercial allowed. And it's actually a electronic device or portable electronic device holder, and but it has some differences in it. And one of the more exciting things to me is that it's easier to make at home. So if you wanted to start a little business at home or make one for your friends or your family, it's pretty simple to do. So let's take a look at it. So this is it right here. Let's go to the build station here, and it's basically two parts. It's a cup, right? And we'll talk about why that's important. And the wedge part. The wedge part actually is a part that will hold the phone and rotate it. So I have a blueprint for you guys over here, and it kind of shows you that I've designed it to hold many different size devices, right? Large and small. I think I sized it up to as large as like a iPad 5. Yeah. So there's the two parts, the wedge and the base. It's about a 20-degree viewing angle. And this is where it gets interesting. So there's two things I really wanted to do. I wanted to keep my phone and some electronic devices off the bench because it gets kind of messy and gross and it gets chaotic. So I wanted a place that I could stick it. So I have some adhesive on here, removable, and I could stick it on there. And then I could put the wedge in the cup and spin it. So you could sit there and put your device in there and spin it. No big deal there. A little lopsided. But at the same time, I want to be able to move it around because I might have a call. I want to keep it handy. It might be giving me some readouts or some timing information. And what's really interesting, actually, is I wanted to use it with electronic devices like digital multimeters. This is a digital oscilloscope. So you can see it here. So it keeps it off the bench, right? But I can still move it around, slide it around. Don't do that. Slide it around and get it to the right view angle. And if I want, I can put it right back into the cup. So it has a couple nice little features. So it can hold a lot of stuff. Here's a book. Spoiler alert, not much of a plot in this one, but full of information. So the book can even be on there if you want. You can't open it so much, but you could actually design it to do that if you wanted to. Now, there's a couple things you might want to know about this. Here I show you the construction of it. The bumpers. There's these little vinyl bumpers, and I like vinyl bumpers, and those work really nice. They stay on. They have really strong adhesive on there. They come on these nice little pads that have different. You buy them in different quantities if you need to, and they're all about 1/2 inch. 1/16 thick. So you just stick them on there. You could go with a non-skid instead, right? Now, if you use the vinyls, the vinyl bumpers, the problem with those is that you'll tend to get oils on them because it doesn't absorb anything. So you're going to, if you take this to like chili feeds and nacho night or game night or whatever, you get a lot of goofy stuff on your hands. You're going to transfer those probably from your phone to the holder. So you're going to have to use some rubbing alcohol to clean them off. No big deal. Not a big deal, but still, that's the only issue I have with it. The other thing that, let's set this aside. The other thing is the adhesive. This adhesive, if you're going to sell these, I recommend getting this kind of adhesive. There'll be a link to it. It's an industrial grade removable adhesive. It is very firm. It's a closed cell foam, so there's no movement in this. If you're going to build them for yourself and you can't get access to this stuff comes on very large rolls actually, but you can buy this stuff from Scotch. Yeah, Scotch. And Scotch, these are okay, but they're kind of spongy. And these are the 1/2 inch ones. You can get them in 1 inch, I think. But they kind of move a little bit, like a wider bed, except completely different. And so they're okay if you're just going to build them yourself. I would probably use the smaller ones and put 3 or 4 of them around there. But this is by far a better option. Now, one of the interesting things with this is that I've built a file that allows you to change the size of it. So you can customize the outer dimension. You can make it as big as you want or as small as you want, and as well as the height goes. Now, one of the most critical heights here, let's pop over to the iPad here, is, and I gave you some information on construction, is this height here, the A height. And let's pop over there and I'll show you how you can customize that. But I give you some pro tips on how to size that up for your personal use, or if you're going to sell them. And this is actually where it gets kind of fun, because it's easier to customize these. So, for instance, if you want to do desktop manufacturing, you could set it up so people can request their own colors, right? And also they could request their own sizes. And so what's really neat about that is that it allows you to outmaneuver, say, a company that's going to mass produce these. If they're going to mass produce them, they're going to have to set up the tooling. They're going to pick a size, maybe 2 or 3, but most likely a size. And they're going to pick a handful of colors because it's very expensive to do, right? And then distribute them. And yeah, they'll be super cheap, but you get what you get, right? Well, if you do it from a small business standpoint or from at-home manufacturing through your 3D printer, you could easily allow the customer to specify the size they want. Or maybe they say, hey, I have this kind of phone, and then you can tell what size they should have. And then you can just simply use this file here to regenerate it. So this is the model. This is an OpenSCAD file. And let's say you want to change the OD on this thing, right? So right here, I have that parameter right here. So the user says, hey, I want that to be 80. So I'm just going to add 20 on there, and then I'll regenerate that. And now it's 80 millimeters across. All right. Remember that this A height we talked about that there? Well, there you go, Jeff. Way to talk. Me and the English language don't get along. So that angle is very critical for stuff, because you can see the shorter that angle, that A side right here on this side, the shorter that is, the more likely that you'll make contact with the surface and you can't spin it around and move it around, or it throws it off balance. So you have to design that for the size of the device. In my case, like I said, I think I scaled it up just high enough so that an iPad 5 could just barely fit in portrait mode. So that's what I did for this one. This one was designed for larger phones. Here's a model actually of a larger phone here. And this is, at the time anyway, I forgot what it was, like a Samsung Galaxy thing, or I don't know, one of those things. But you can see that it has a little bit of clearance here, and it will fit some of the larger phones on that. So this particular size scales for most phones. But if you want to go outside that, then you're going to need to customize it. Well, that short, I call it the wedge short Z here. So if you want to change this, let's say they have a fairly large tablet or something. So we already kicked that OD up so that it'll fit that tablet. And then, I don't know, let's add like 15, might be a bit much, but let's add 15 millimeters to it. And suddenly you have designed it for your customer. So it's really easy to do. And this is where you can outshine most companies, because you can have a lot of different variations and a lot of colors, because there's a ton of filament colors out there. So I really encourage you to go out there, and if you're interested, go out there and sell them. So, and like I said, you can do them for fun or profit. It's all licensed Creative Commons. Now, the only thing to consider is the finish, right? So a lot of people aren't fantastically excited about the finish with 3D printing. And if you're doing an art piece, I totally understand that, right? But in this case, it's really a functional piece. And though the finish it's a bit abrasive, it looks really nice. This is printed at 0.2. If you print it at 0.1, it'll look even more finer. And so I really think in this case, it still lends itself nicely to that. So it's certainly something that you could go out there and sell. So I encourage you to do that. So hopefully you found this idea useful. Maybe you can use it to get a one-up in life. I don't know. It's all up to you. Make it for your friends and families if you want, or go beyond and make $1 billion. You never know. So remember, life is all about experience points. So go out there and get those. Till next time.